Okay, if you can see my screen clearly, please, Ms. Ibo, can you see my screen clearly? If you can see my screen clearly, please type a 3 in the chat, please. If you can see my screen clearly, please type a 3 in the chat, please. If you can see my screen clearly, please type a 3 in the chat, please. Okay, great. All right, so like I said, today we're going to be talking about the business of Royal Q. I saw someone that said that they're a first timer. You're welcome. To those that have joined the business, but you just want to know more about the business, you're also welcome. You can only build a business you truly understand. So trust me when I say you are in the right place. Just rid yourself of every distraction and try to pay attention to all I'm going to say today. Like I said, today's meeting will be quite a little shorter than usual, but just try to pay attention and catch as much as you can. So today we're going to be talking about digital assets. All right, so what are digital assets? Before we get into what digital assets are, you need to know that we have what we call fiat currencies as well. So we have fiat currencies and we have digital assets. All right, so fiat currencies are your paper money, the money you have in your wallets, that you have in your pockets, money you can put in your bag and all that. Physical money, money you can touch with your hands. While digital assets are assets that only exist on the internet, that can only be sent or received over the internet. It is currency that cannot be held within your hands. It must be sent through the internet. Let's take, for instance, if you have a few friends overseas, let's say you have a friend in Sweden and a friend in Switzerland, and you're trying to send them funds from your local country, let's say Nigeria, for example, there are lots of hassles when it comes to that. First of all, you need to get to the bank. When you get to the bank, you need to ensure that you can send funds to these countries. You also need to ensure that you have the limit to send for that particular day. You need to sign some paperwork, probably meet your account manager, to authorize that transaction. All that hassle just to send your own money. So there are lots of restrictions when it comes to our regular banking systems, like what I just explained now. But for digital assets, you do not need a third party. You don't need someone to authorize a transaction for you. You can send no matter how much it is to anybody around the world, and it will get to them as simple as a text message. Literally, it doesn't matter how much. It could be $1 million, it could be $500,000, it could be $1 billion, and it will get to them instantly. Picture trying to send $1 billion over your regular banking systems now to a country, let's say Sweden or Switzerland. A lot of red flags will pop up. The bank will probably invite you to ask you what to do for a living. Your account might be flagged, even though it's legitimate money. There is literally no privacy when it comes to those kind of amounts. But for digital assets, there is no restriction. It doesn't matter how much is you're sending, it will get to them as simple and as quick as a text message. So that's the power of what digital currencies can do for you and I. All right, so for those that don't understand that, the adoption of these digital assets have become worldwide. Here are a few statistics for you. Now, you can see that there are over 420 million users. 420 million users of these digital assets. And these are the top countries that are involved with them. Number one, USA at approximately 46 million. Next, we have India at approximately 27 million. Next, we have Pakistan, when we have Nigeria, we have Vietnam, as you can see, all in millions. of users. And these numbers rise every single day. So this is just to give you a scope of the magnitude of how this the adoption is worldwide. So if someone is telling you that these things don't work, tell them that there's data to prove that it works till today. All right, so I've explained to you the difference between fiat currencies and also digital currencies or digital assets. Now, but for you to get involved with digital assets, you need to have you need to be involved with what we call cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, these exchanges are where you can buy and sell these digital assets, where you can store them, where you can send them, where you can buy them. You have to be involved with one of them, one of these exchanges, for you to gain access to them. Also, in these digital currencies, we have what we call trading pairs. Now, before I go into what trading pairs are, trading pairs isn't just specific to digital currencies. There are also trading pairs for fiat currencies. I explained to you what fiat currencies are. I also explained to you what digital currencies are. I said fiat currencies are the currencies that you and I have right now in our wallets, in our pockets, in our bags, paper money, money you can fill with your hands. While digital currencies are currencies that exist only on the internet and can only be accessed through an exchange. All right, so what are trading pairs? Trading pairs simply means that you would like to know what the value of what one currency is to another. It's as simple as that. You would like to know what the value of what one currency is to another. Let's take, for instance, a friend of yours comes back from overseas, let's say the US, and the person hands you $100 bill. That is fiat, right? Because it's paper money. The person hands you the $100 bill. The next day, you decide to go exchange that for your local currency, for your local legal tender. So you head to a bureau de change, or you head to an aboki and I beg, aboki, please, how much is the dollar to naira today? What you're simply doing there is that you would like to know what the value of the fiat currency you're holding is in your local currency. Remember, trading pair. Pair simply means two, something that's together. So in this sense, the trading pair for that question you've asked that aboki is USD/NGN. USD, which stands for the United States dollar, while /NGN, NGN stands for Nigerian naira. All right. So the trading pair in that case, because you are holding a $100 note, would be USD/NGN, because you would like to know what the value of what one currency is to another. You want to know what the value of the dollar you are holding is in your naira. All right, so that is an example of a fiat currency trading pair. All right, the same way we have trading pairs for fiat currencies is the same way we have trading pairs for digital assets as well. For example, you can see here we have an example that says BTC/USDT. All right, BTC simply stands for Bitcoin. I'm hoping a lot of us here in this room have heard of Bitcoin. So BTC here stands for Bitcoin, while USDT stands for United States Dollar Tether. I will say it again. USDT stands for United States Dollar Tether. Now, what is this USDT? USDT simply is the digital form of a regular dollar. All right? USDT is the digital form of the regular dollar. So what does that mean? $1 US is equal to 1 USDT. I hope it is clear. So same thing, one USDT is equal to one US dollar. So the USDT is the digital form of a regular fiat dollar. All right, so I hope that is clear. There are different examples of trading pairs. I only give you two examples. I only give you one example for the fiat example for the fiat currency, where I talked about the US dollar that a friend of yours gave to you. But same thing, there are different examples of trading pairs depending on the currency that was given to you. So on the chat, can somebody or can a few people give me examples of fiat currency trading pairs? Give me examples of fiat currency trading pairs in the chat. Let me be sure that people are following. In the chat, give me examples of fiat currency trading pairs. Fiat currency trading pairs. Fiat currency trading pairs. Just one person. GBP slash JPY. Absolutely correct. Is it just Nkiru Joe that is participating? Who else? Who else? We have approximately 50 people in this room. So I need to see like 50 examples before I continue. Sorry, I need to see like 10 examples before I continue. Lydia says ETH slash USDT, that is wrong. I said examples of fiat currency trading pairs, not digital assets. Okay. Examples of fiat currency trading pairs. Mr. Kiru says GBP slash JPY. Lydia, you were wrong. Give me another example. Charles said Euro slash USD, which is correct. Emmanuel says GBP slash USDT. That is wrong. Oliver says USD slash GBP. That is correct. I need more examples, more examples, more examples. People are still typing USDT. I said I need examples of fiat currency trading pairs, not crypto trading pairs, not digital assets, digital trading pairs. No. My goodness. Okay, before I go ahead, can someone give me the example, the difference between, tell me the difference between fiat currencies and digital assets? Can someone give me an example or an explanation? I said it when we started the call. I explained what fiat currencies are. I also explained what digital currencies are. So can someone explain to me in the chat? Because most of the answers I'm seeing here are, people are misunderstanding me. Anybody? What is fiat currency? So nobody was paying attention. So Aminata says fiat is cash. Trojan says fiat is paper money, while digital money is cryptos. Okay. Mr. Kiru says fiat is physical money you can hold in your hands, example, paper money or coins, while digital you can't hold on your hands, it is on the internet. Perfect. That's a perfect response. So for everybody else that gave the wrong examples, from this definition, can you now give me examples of fiat currency trading pairs, not digital? I need examples of fiat currency trading pairs, not digital. In the chat, I need to see like 10 correct answers before I continue. 10 correct answers before I continue. Okay, so someone says USD slash CAD, correct. Someone says Euro slash USD, correct. Someone says NGN/USD, correct. Someone says pesos/USD, correct. Now, Sunday says NGN/USDT, that is wrong. Someone says NGN/yen, correct. Someone says AUD/USD, correct. Someone says GBP/USD, correct. So I'm happy that most of the examples are correct. Mr. Sunday Joseph, your answer is wrong. So just, I'll try to run through it again so that you understand what I'm talking about. I said that trading pairs, they're trading pairs for fiat currencies, and they're also trading pairs for digital currencies. All right. I give an example of a friend of yours. For example, a friend of yours returns from overseas and hands you $100 bill. Okay, remember, I said fiat money is paper money, money you can hold with your hands, money you can keep in your wallets, money you can keep in your pockets, whatever. While digital assets are assets that only exist on the internet. All right, you cannot hold them. You cannot hold them with your hands. All right, so the money that was given to you by a friend of yours, it was handed over to you. Therefore, that makes it fiat, right? So we're talking about trading pairs. Now, you decide to go exchange the $100 bill for your local currency. Let's say you're in Nigeria. Your local currency would be Naira. So you head to a bureau de change, or you head to, your regular customer, your regular customer, and you're like, Aboki, I beg, how much is dollar to Naira today? Simply, you want to know what the value of the $100 bill you are holding is in your local currency. All right. So he tells you the amount, whatever, you decide to do the deal or not. But the trading pair, for that question you have asked that man, for you asking him, I beg, how much is US dollar to Naira today? The trading pair for that question would be USD, because you have a $100 bill, slash NGN, which is the currency you are willing to exchange your funds for. All right, so I hope that is clear for the person that got it wrong. USDT that you wrote there is an example of a digital asset. It is not a fiat currency. The example I gave, the example that's right here that says BTC/USDT is an example of a digital asset. This is a digital trading pair. This is a crypto trading pair. All right. And this means Bitcoin/USDT. Now, the same way we have different currencies in fiat is the same way we have a lot of currencies in crypto and also in the digital space. So as we have here BTC/USDT, the same thing we can have ETH/USDT, which is Ethereum. You can have LTC/Ethereum. You could have BTC/ETH. You can have ZEN/USDT. There are different trading pairs when it comes to digital assets, and also when it comes to fiat currencies as well. So I'm hoping that explanation is clear to everybody else. All right, so here are some basic investment strategies when it comes to making more digital assets. Now, the first one is by what we call hodling, HODLING. And for this example, I'm going to use an everyday example. I always do that every week. So what is hodling? If you switch the D for the L, it spells holding, just like when you're holding onto something, when you're holding tight onto something. So how does this work? How do you make more digital currencies from this? How? So let's take, for instance, a few years ago, maybe like 15 years ago, while working in your office, a friend of yours comes to you and tells you that there's this piece of land that is located in some remote area, and your friend is telling you that she has gotten a plot So because you're her friend, she decided to tell you about the next plot, and then you decide, you know what, I have some money that I'm looking to invest into something because you don't want to use that money. And your friend tells you that that piece of land you're willing to buy, she wants you to buy is approximately, let's say, 1 million naira. Now, you decide to use that 1 million to purchase that property. Your plan is that no matter what happens, you are not going to sell that piece of land until 15 years time, 15 years time, or whenever you feel like the profit is enough for you. That is your plan. So you go ahead, you purchase that piece of land. A few months down the line, somebody comes to you with a very juicy offer. So let's say this is 4 months down the line. Somebody pops up to you and says they would like to buy that piece of land for 5 million naira. Now, that seems like a lot of gain to make in just a couple of months, but you made yourself a promise that no matter what happens, you are not selling until you are comfortable with the profits that would come in probably 15 years' time. So you decide to decline the offer. The years roll by, offers keep rolling in and popping in, but you keep declining. And thankfully, you eventually make it to 2024, 15 years later. Now, that friend of yours now tells you, do you know that piece of land has really appreciated now? So you want to know how much it is. You go and ask somebody to make a survey of that particular area. And then you find out that that piece of land you bought for 1 million naira is now worth 30 million naira, that one plot of land. So now you see that you made the right decision. If you had sold earlier, you wouldn't have made this kind of profit. But because you decided to hold on to that piece of land, that is why you have gained this amount of profit. That act alone is what we call hodling in cryptocurrency. That act of holding on to that piece of land is what we call hodling. So this example I gave you right now of a piece of land, in actual sense, that piece of land would be your digital asset. All right. So regardless of whatever coin it is, there are so many digital assets that you can get your hands on, that you can decide to buy and hold on to for the long term. So if you haven't noticed already, hodlers, people that hodl, are those that are looking for long-term gains. They are those that are looking to hold on to currencies for the longest term. I don't mean days, I don't mean months. They hold on for months on end, for years on end. Now, why is this so powerful? How do you make more money from this? I just gave you an example. For those that adopted Bitcoin when Bitcoin first came out, when Bitcoin came out, I would like to do the same exercise I always do every week. Please, let's take for instance, when Bitcoin was made, the first Bitcoin was less than $1 to buy one whole Bitcoin. It was less than $1. So let's just say, take for instance, that one Bitcoin back then was 10 cents. All right. Let's take, for instance, one whole Bitcoin back then, years ago, was 10 cents. All right. Now, and you decide, or back then you said, well, you know what, I don't really understand this Bitcoin thing. But let me just throw in $1 into it. So you decide to buy 10 pieces of Bitcoins at 10 cents for one. How much would you have invested to purchase those 10 pieces? Could you please type it in the chat? Could you please type it in the chat? How much would you have invested to purchase 10 pieces of Bitcoins? So Ibrahim says $1. Anybody else? Does anybody have any varying answer? Okay, everybody says, okay, good. This one is a mad guru. Yeah, 0.1 times 10, that is $1. So you would have invested a whooping sum of $1 to purchase 10 pieces of Bitcoins. So how would you make money from putting in $1 into this? How is that possible? Let me show you. Now, the people that, you know, regardless of all the news, because trust me, the same way when some businesses start up, you keep hearing things like, it's a scam, this will never work, it's not feasible, it goes against the laws of finance. That is the same thing that a lot of people heard back then. The first people that got involved with Bitcoin, that is the same thing they heard. They heard Bitcoin, money out of air, is not possible. It cannot exist. It will die off in a few months. You don't know the owners, so how is it possible? It's a scam. You're just throwing your money into the ocean. But people, regardless of all the bad news and all the fraud, everything, decided to invest in this weird thing that they had no idea what it was. And how did it benefit them? So let's take, for instance, we've already invested our $1 into this years ago. Now, picture this. After buying your 10 Bitcoins back then, you left it in your crypto wallet. You left it there for years on end. You totally forgot about it. You carried on with your life. You enjoyed or continued your 9-to-5 job. You just went on with your life. And then years later, now in 2024, you start hearing, or let's say 2023, you started hearing stuff about bull run. Bitcoin is pumping. Bitcoin hits this amount. This is appreciating. Major companies are getting interested in Bitcoin. And then you remember, there was something I invested in years ago. I think it was named Bitcoin. And then thankfully, you still have access to that wallet of yours. So fast forward to 2024, now you find the wallet, you remember your seed phrase, which is the key for you to gain access to your wallet. And when you do that, can you please tell me how much would the person see once they open their wallet? Remember, this same person purchased 10 pieces of Bitcoin at 10 cents. So he invested a whooping sum of $1 to purchase those 10 pieces. How much would the person see in their wallets right now if they opened it as we speak, considering the amount of Bitcoin, how much Bitcoin is right now? How much would the person see in their wallets? Please type in the chat. All right, so Adeni says the person would see approximately $635,000. And Kirujo says over $600,000. Bashir says $640,000. So bottom line, good. Aminata has done the math for us. 10 pieces times the current price of Bitcoin. And right now, the current price of Bitcoin is approximately $62,000 to $63,000 for one Bitcoin. So now you see that person that invested $1 into this made tremendous gain. What other business, what other industry is it possible to invest $1 and get a turnover of more than $500,000, $620,000 or $40,000 after investing $1? So that is the power of the digital space. That's the power of cryptocurrency, being able to make wealth out of nothing. So now you see that those people that took that leap of faith to jump in with both feet eventually made it. Most of them are now billionaires out of nowhere. Most of them became millionaires out of nowhere from something they just threw a few dollars into. So that is the power of hodling. So you might say, Bitcoin has gone now. That'll probably never be my case, but you're wrong, because there are so many digital currencies for you to take advantage of. Till tomorrow, there are still ones that are popping up. It is just to find yourself in the right one at the right time. All right, so that is for hodling. I hope that explains it all. Remember, Hodlers are those that look for the long-term gains. All right, so the next way you can make more of your digital assets, to make more of them, is by day trading. Remember, we just talked about hodlers and how they are people that look for long-term gains. But day traders look for the shortest time possible to make profits. For you to become a day trader, it takes way more knowledge than being a hodler. Because being a hodler just simply means you need to have the money to buy the asset you want, purchase that asset, and wait. As simple as that. But becoming a day trader needs extensive knowledge and understanding of the market. You need to know when to buy, when not to buy, because yes, we have a saying that not trading is also trading. You don't want to get into the market when there's some weird news that can tank the market and then you lose money. So for you to become a day trader, you need proper understanding, extensive knowledge, and extensive education about the market for you to become and remain profitable in this market. So, but don't get me wrong, you must not be one or the other. It doesn't mean that you must be a day trader or you must be a hodler. You can be both. You can be a hodler, you can also be a day trader. Why? Because there are so many cryptocurrencies out there for you to take advantage of. You can, there are coins out there you can, when you look at them, you see the long-term potential in them, then you can invest in those ones. Also, there are coins that when you look at them, you can see the short-term possibilities of making profit in them. Then you can day trade those ones. So now you see that the options are many. There are so many coins for you to experiment with, to take advantage of in this space. So that's that for hodlers and also for day trading. All right, so while we're here today, we are here to talk about Royal Q. We are here to talk about Royal Q. Can somebody type Royal Q in the chat? I need to see 50 Royal Q in the chat right now. We're here to talk about Royal Q. Can someone type that in the chat? We're here to see, I need to see like over 50 Royal Q in the chat right now. We're here to talk about Royal Q. I need to see it in the chat. Let me be sure. We're here to talk about what? Royal Q. Royal Q. Good. Fantastic. More. We're here to talk about Royal Q. Good. All right. So before we go ahead, yeah, 1 second. Yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah. All right, so sorry. Yeah, so before we go ahead, if you ever heard of the word AI, artificial intelligence, please type yes in the chat. If you have ever heard of the words artificial intelligence, please type yes in the chat. If you have ever heard of the words artificial intelligence or AI, please type yes in the chat, okay? All right, so if you will have, so what is AI? AI simply means artificial intelligence. Now, what is it? Back in the day, we have, obviously we have a saying that change is constant. No matter what happens, change is constant. Back in the day, for those that attended, night class, let's say you want to pass an exam, you have an exam the next day, you go for night class, burn the midnight oil, probably with your friends or something, go for night class, study, and get ready for your exam the next day. Fast forward down the line, the internet came into play. We would go to cyber cafes, purchase time, probably like 20 Naira time or 50 Naira time for 1 hour or so, and explore the internet. It was new to a lot of us, to every one of us, or to those that cared. But before then, we had typewriters, which was something new. No longer writing with your hands, you could typewrite whatever information you were looking to send. Then came the cyber cafes that you could go buy some time, explore, do your assignments, print, and so on. Fast forward down the line, we got our mobile phones. The internet became easily accessible to every one of us. You know, even though it wasn't perfect, but it was something. I don't know if you're here, you can remember when if you ever used a phone that had infrared. If you ever used a phone that had infrared, please type yes. Infrared. Did you ever use a phone that had infrared? Red, good. I mean, Aminu says yes. Bashir says yes. You know, so back then when infrared, if you have a phone that could, you know, pass on information by putting two phones together with the parts that were the infrared connectors, you have an amazing phone. You know, it was technology at its best at that time. These were things that we hadn't seen before. It was new to us. So you can see the trend. Change is constant. Right now, Bluetooth is there, Bluetooth 2.0, 3.0, and all that. Constantly, there will be change as time goes on. What am I trying to say? That no matter what happens, adopting and accepting change is very key. AI tools are here to help us. Regardless of whatever business it is that you are doing, whatever 9 to 5 you do, there are AI tools that can help you execute your businesses quicker and better. Let's take, for example, a photographer, or let's say a video editor. Now, let's say a video editor has a job to deliver. His job to deliver is his client needs him to shoot a video of a man and his family walking down the streets on the streets of Paris. They should be walking a dog and they should be holding umbrellas. Now, on a regular day, how would that job be executed? This videographer would need to, first of all, book a flight if he's not in Paris. He would need, when he gets there, he would need to audition for models, people that will play the man, the woman, the kids. He would need to get costume. He would need to get a crew. He would need to get, a permit to use whatever road or whatever side of the road is going to use to shoot. All these things would cost money. It would cost time, just to get that one shot that his client is asking for. But I would like to let you know that right now, as we speak, there are AI tools that for you to get that same scene, and I mean video, not a picture, a scene of a man and a woman walking down the road with their kids, holding umbrellas on the streets of Paris, all you would need to do to see that video is to type it. Give your AI tool a prompt of, please generate a man and a woman and his kids walking down the street holding umbrellas on the streets of Paris. And in a literal seconds, you will see that video. Believe it or not, right now as we speak, there are AI tools that can help you, write more. Some people now have been saying, they wish these AI tools were there back then when we were in university and all that. It would have helped, for us to execute more jobs and pass assignments quicker and all that. But that's the beauty of AI tools, here to help make your life easier. Now, how would that AI tool help that videographer? It would help him secure more jobs. It will help him finish jobs easier. It would help him get more clients, obviously making more money, simply by having that AI tool. So AI tools are simply here to make your life better. In the US right now, we have the Tesla company owned by Elon Musk. Now, they produce self-driving cars. You just need to get into the car and it takes you to your destination. In China, right now, as we speak, there are self-driving taxi companies. All you need to do is log onto their app, choose your destination or choose your location and your destination. The car will drive up to where you are. Yes, with no driver, then you get into the passenger seat and then you sit, relax, and wait for the car to take you to your destination. These things were not possible years ago, but times change. things evolve. Technology gets better as the day rolls by. So if you have AI tools that are here to help you, why not adopt them? Why not embrace them? If you have AI tools that can help you with your 9 to 5 jobs, why not have an AI tool that is here to help you with your trading? RoyalQ is an AI tool that can help you with your trading with ease. It's a tool that can help you monitor your trades, execute your trades with ease. While you go about with your regular 9 to 5, or if you're a businessman or woman, this bot will work for you. So why not have something that is there constantly working for you while you focus on other things? Now, this is a graphical representation of what I'm talking about. On the left, we have a trader. Now, don't get me wrong, day traders or traders in general, yeah, they make money. They're traders that make money on their own without help or use of AI tools. But there's only so much you can do as a human being. There's only so much you can execute or monitor as a human being. A human being cannot monitor 50 to 100 trades at a go. It's not possible. You can't keep flipping from one screen to the other. When do I bet? When do I buy? When do I sell? My analysis, are they correct now? Can I get into the market now? Can I leave now? Monitoring 50 to 100 trades as a human, it's tasking, almost impossible. But for an AI tool, it is done seamlessly, and you don't have to be there to monitor. The AI tool will be there. The RoyalQ bot will be there to monitor your trades for you, to execute your trades, to sell, to buy, as you have instructed it to, with ease. So, hearing all these things, why wouldn't you want a bot that helps you do all that easily? All right, so how does the RoyalQ bot work? On the left here, we have a graphical representation of that. On the left, we have RoyalQ bot, which is your personal RoyalQ bot. On the right, we have your digital bank account. In the middle, we have the API. This is what connects your RoyalQ bot to your digital bank account. What do I mean? Now, we've all been part of businesses in the past that have told you, please send us your money, we will trade on your behalf, we will send you your profits, we will tell you how much you have made for this day or tomorrow or for the week. If you have ever been involved in any business like that, any business that promised some percentage per week or per day, but you had to send the money to them before you started receiving your returns, please type yes in the chat. Obviously, they all went wrong. But if you've ever been a part of something like that, please type yes in the chat. If you have ever. So yeah, I'm seeing a few yeses. So just 3 people. People are lucky. Just 3 people have experienced such things. All right. So, well, even if I have just one person here that's experienced such a thing, good. Not good, but I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm not just the only person that experienced such a thing. So, those businesses promised you returns. If you send something to them, they would trade on your behalf and forward it to you. But here in RoyalQ, you do not send your money to anyone. There is nobody you're sending your funds to help you trade, and then they will send back returns for you daily or weekly or monthly. No. Your funds remain in your own personal digital bank account. It remains there. Why is that important for you to note? It's important because no other person has access to those funds except you. It is in your possession. You have all the passwords, the email addresses to access the account, the 2FA, which is the two-factor authenticator. Everything that pertains to security for that account is in your hands. Nobody, no other person has access to that money except you. So what is this connection that the API does for you? The API only helps the RoyalQ bot have a sneak peek into the amount you have in your own personal bank account, your digital bank account. So that peak is to help it trade for you. So what will happen? Your capital will be in your digital bank account. The RoyalQ bot will be linked to that digital bank account. It will then trade on your behalf. Your capital plus your profit will remain in your own bank account, in yours. You're not sending your funds to anybody. Nobody's receiving your funds for you. Everything happens in your own bank account. All right. Even RoyalQ cannot withdraw money from your account because you haven't given it permission to. Your capital is safe in your own personal bank account. Your profits too are safe in your own personal bank account. No other person to send the funds to. So that is what the connection of the API does for you. So how does this RoyalQ bot help you trade? How does it help you make more profits? The method of trading that the RoyalQ bot does for you is what we call spot trading. SPOT, spot trading. Now, it might sound technical, but it is as easy as ABC. What do I mean? For every man and woman that has ever decided to start a business, whether buying or selling or whatever, real estate, whatever business you've decided to start, the main reason people start businesses is because they would like to make what? Can someone type it to the chat? What is the main thing that a businessman or woman wants to make when they start a business? What is that main thing that they want to make when they start a business? I'm looking for a word. All right, so Chidi says profits. Kirujo says profits. It says profits. Good. So the main thing is profits. Yeah. So basically, every businessman or woman that has ever conceived the idea of starting a business, nobody starts a business because they want to lose money. I've never heard of that before. So when you're starting a business, you are doing so because you want to make profits. So what is spot trading? Spot trading is as easy as making profit. It simply means buying low and selling high. How does a businessman make money, or how does a businesswoman make money? She finds a product, she negotiates with whoever she's buying it from for a lesser price. She buys it in bulk at a lesser price. She takes it to her shop or her online store or her house, whatever. And then she marks up the price, plus her profit, and then she sells. The difference in the amount that she bought the product and the amount she sold for is her profit. As simple as that. Buying low and selling high. Buying low and selling high. That is simply what spot trading means. Now, so why is it so important that RoyalQ is spot trading? Because number one, like I said, you're buying low and you're selling high. There is no margin or futures trading. Several trades can be taken a day. And finally, there are no emotions and no losses. Yes, I said there are no losses when spot trading. You might be wondering, how is that possible? We are trading, so there's no how you can't make losses. For those that probably trade on their own, you can say it's not possible. When you're trading, there's no how you can't lose money. But in spot trading, you can be in what we call a floating loss. I'll explain that. Let me explain that with an everyday example. Let me explain that with one of the major things now that is causing trouble in our country. Fuel. Let's say you'd like to go and buy fuel. So let's take, for instance, a few weeks ago, you decided to purchase fuel at 500 naira per liter. That was your plan. You purchased fuel at 500 naira per liter. Your plan is that when this fuel gets to 800 naira per liter, you are going to sell it off and make profit. That was your plan. But we all know that we have our plans as humans, but the market has its own plan. The market does what it wants to do. The market decides when it wants to move. So let's say after buying that fuel for 500 naira per liter, and your plan is to sell at 800 naira per liter, something goes wrong in the market. And that keg of fuel, that fuel is no longer 500 naira per liter. It now drops to 400 naira. It drops to 300 naira per liter. Obviously, for the masses, it's a good thing because they get to buy fuel for cheaper. But as a businessman or woman, to you, you are losing money. But in actual sense, you haven't lost money. Why? As long as you still have that, you're still in possession of that keg of fuel in your house. As long as you still have possession of that keg of fuel, you haven't lost your money. The keg of fuel has only lost value at the time. Why? Because the market only does two things. The market only goes down and it comes up. It goes down and it comes up. The market constantly fluctuates. So, as at that time when the market is at 300 naira per liter, we would say that you are in a floating loss because it is currently fluctuating. You are not in an actual loss. The only time we would say that you are in actual loss is, let's say, when the price dropped from 500 naira per liter to 300 naira per liter, you kept waiting and you told yourself, I don't think I can wait anymore. This keg of fuel is just sitting in my house for nothing. And you're like, you know what? I'm just going to sell it off at this price, at a price lower than you bought it. As soon as you sell off at that time, then we can see that you had an actual loss. But as long as you don't sell off, as long as you wait, as long as you hold on to it for as long as it takes for the market to recover back to the price at which you bought it, we would say that you are in a floating loss. Now, why is this important? Because if you wait long enough, the market will recover. The market will go back to the first time you bought, which is 500 naira per liter, and eventually to your profit target of approximately 800 naira. Right now in Nigeria, that's how much a lot of us are currently purchasing fuel. So you see that the only thing that you lost throughout this entire example was time. You didn't lose money. You only lost the time. You had to have patience for the market to go down and return back to when you bought. That is a simple example of what floating loss and actual loss means. All right. So I hope that is clear. Please, I hope that is, if that is clear, please type a yes. If that's clear, please type a yes. If you didn't understand that, type a no, so I can go back to it. If you understood everything I just said now, please type a yes. If you didn't, type a no, so I can go back to it before we continue. I need like 10 yeses before I continue. Mr. Mike says yes, Bashir says yes, Mr. Kiri says yes, Abdul says yes. All right, great. Great, so everybody says yes, fantastic. So moving on. Yeah, so this is just a graphic representation of what I was talking about, of spot trading, buying low and selling high. And the difference within that is your profits. Oh, shit. Okay, so another way that the Roku bot helps you make money is by the strategy called the Martingale strategy. Please follow me. A strategy called Martingale strategy, or we call it dollar cost averaging method. That might sound like a lot, but just follow me. It's quite easy. I said it's called the Martingale strategy, or or the dollar cost averaging method. So let's take, for instance, there is Mr. A. Now, Mr. A decides to purchase a coin for $500. His plan is that when this coin appreciates to $1,000, he's going to sell in profit. That is his plan. Well, like the previous example I gave you of a keg of fuel, we have our plans as humans, but the market has its own plan. The market decides what it wants to do, when it wants to do what it wants to do. So Mr. A purchases this coin for $500. His plan is to make a profit when it gets to $1,000. But something happens. The market starts dwindling. The market starts depreciating. So that coin is now worth, it drops from $500, is now worth $450. It keeps dropping. It drops to 400. It drops to 390. It drops to 350. It drops to 300. Now, Mr. A is panicking. He's wondering, has he made the wrong call? Should he sell off? Has he lost money? Those are the questions that plague him. But you and I know better. But Mr. A, he decides, no matter what happens, I'm just going to hold on to these coins. I'm just going to wait until the market does what it wants to do and eventually appreciates. So Mr. A decides to do nothing but wait for the market. So the price, even though the price has gone down way beyond when he bought it, he decides to have patience. And no matter how long that takes, days, hours, months, weeks, no matter how long it took him, he decided to wait. And eventually the market now recovered back to when he bought at $500. Obviously, after having that patience, he decides to wait some more for his profit targets. Thankfully, the coin appreciates to his target of $1,000 and he takes profit. That is an example for Mr. A. Now, let's say there's another person, Mr. B. Mr. B decides to do the same thing that Mr. A has done, but with a little difference. What is that difference? So Mr. B decides to do the same thing to purchase the coin for the same amount, $500. His plan is that when the price gets the same thing, $1,000, he's going to sell off. That is his plan. But the same thing that happened to Mr. A now happens to him. The market starts dwindling. The market starts depreciating. From when he bought at $500, the market dwindled or dropped to $450. From $450, he dropped to $430, $430 to $400, to $350, to $300, to $250. But Mr. B isn't panicking. He isn't scared. He isn't wondering what's going on because he understands the trend of the market. He understands that the market does only two things. It goes down and it goes up. It goes down and it goes up. He understands the market is constantly fluctuating. But the difference here is that for every time the market dropped, from when it dropped from 500 to 450, Mr. B bought more coins. When the market dropped from 450 to 400, he purchased more coins. When it dropped from 400 to 350, he purchased more. When it dropped to 300, he purchased more. This is totally different from what Mr. A did, because all Mr. A did was he waited for the market to go down, do its thing, and come back up. He took no more actions than just wait. But Mr. B decided to take actions to see an advantage, to see a potential, to see an opportunity to make more money. So for every time the market dwindled, for every time the market went under, he just kept buying more. Some people might look at Mr. B and wonder, is your head correct? Are you okay? Why are you purchasing more coins? Why are you throwing in money into this thing that is sinking? What is wrong with you? But Mr. B understood that the market will eventually recover. Now, because he knew that eventually when the market starts recovering back to when he first bought at $500, he would have made way more money than Mr. A because he took advantage of all those times that the market dwindled. So by the time the market recovers back to his 500, he would have made way more money than Mr. A made. Not to even talk of the profit target of $1,000 eventually. So he would definitely make way more than $1,000. So that is the power and the potential of the martingale strategy. That act of buying more coins when the market is dropping is what we call the martingale strategy, or the dollar cost averaging. And this is a graphical representation of all I've been saying. When the market went down, he purchased more. When it went down, he purchased more, because when the market started recovering, he would have made way more money than Mr. A. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. If you understand all I just said, please type a yes in the chat. If you didn't, type a no. If you understand everything I just said, please type a yes. If you didn't, please type a no. If you did, type a yes. If you didn't, type a no. Please, if you really didn't understand, please type a no. Don't be Don't be cajoled to type a yes, even though you're seeing yeses on the chat. If you didn't understand, please type a no. I will go back to it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of yeses, so I'll just wait a few more seconds. Anybody? Any no's? No. Okay, so HP says no. HP says no. All right, I'll run through it again quickly this time. I talked about the martingale strategy. All right, I gave an example of, let's say, HP. HP, can you please type what your real name is so I can use an example? What is your real name? HP, what is your real name? Type it in the chat. Wadi. Okay. All right, so let's say Mr. A decides to purchase some coins. All right. Mr. A purchases coins for $500. His plan is that when he gets to $1,000, he's going to make profit. But the market goes against him. The market starts dwindling. The market drops from 500, drops to 450, to 430, to 400. It just keeps dropping. But Mr. A decided, you know what, I'm not going to sell off, because if I sell off, I would lose money. If I sell off, I would have an actual loss. He decides to hold on to that coin no matter what. All right. So after a while, the market now recovers back to his 500, and obviously to his profit target. He has made his money. But let's say there is Wadi. Now, Wadi has seen what Mr. A has done, but he wants to do it a little different, because Wadi understands the market. What did Wadi now do? Wadi decided to do the same thing that Mr. A has done. Wadi purchased the coins for $500. Wadi told himself that when this coin gets to $1,000, he's going to sell off in profit. But the same thing that happened to Mr. A now happened to Wadi. How? The market started dropping. The $500 coin that he bought is now losing value. It is now worth, from 500, it is worth 450. As the market goes on, it keeps dropping. It drops from 450, it drops to 430. From 430, it drops to 400. From 400, it drops to 350. 350 to 300. So Wadi isn't panicking, because Wadi understands that the market does only two things. Even though the market goes down, it will still come up. Wadi understands that. Wadi understands that even if the market goes down, it will still come up. So what does Wadi now do? Knowing this, for every time the market went from, when he bought from 500, it drops to 430, Wadi bought more coins. When the market went from 430 to 400, Wadi bought more coins. When the market went from 400 to 350, Wadi bought more. Wadi kept buying more, regardless of how long it took the market to go down. Why? Because Wadi was accumulating more coins at cheaper prices. Because Wadi understood that eventually this market will come back up. All right, so Wadi was right. Eventually, the market now recovers back to his $500 when he bought at first. But now, it would no longer be $500 that he would make. He would make way more money than $500. Why? Because he took advantage of every time the market dropped, he kept buying more. Every time the market dropped, he kept buying more. So Wadi would have made way more money than Mr. A did, because he took advantage of all the times that the market dropped. All right. So that is as simple as an explanation as possible. I hope you understand. If you do, please type a yes in the chat. All right. So how do we operate this RoyalQ bot to help us become profitable? I talked about the martingale strategy. I talked about the DCA, which is the dollar cost averaging. Other strategies that we have in the RoyalQ bot are, number one, we have the cycle strategy. Now, what is this cycle strategy? Just like the name implies, it is a constant thing. It's a constant procedure. So let's take, for instance, you tell your RoyalQ bot, please purchase this coin for me at $100. When this coin appreciates in value, or when it pumps to $500, please sell in profits for me. The cycle strategy simply means that you are telling the RoyalQ bot that, all right, you have sold in profit for me. If the market starts coming back down, if the market starts dwindling, if the market starts depreciating, please repurchase this coin for me. Okay, you have repurchased now. If the market starts going back up in profit, please sell for me. If the market comes back down, please buy. If it goes up, please sell. If it comes down, please buy. So it's a constant process. You have authorized your RoyalQ bot that this is what I want you to do. When in profit, sell. When the market comes down, buy. When in profit, sell. When it comes back down, buy. So as the name implies, cycle, it means that you have told your RoyalQ bot to continuously do this until you come back and stop the process. So the RoyalQ bot will keep buying and selling for you with ease. You don't have to be there to tell you what to do, as long as you have given it instructions on what to do. That is just powerful. The next operation is the one-shot strategy. And just like the name implies, it's a one direction or one instruction trade. This is when you tell your RoyalQ bot, please purchase this coin for me. For example, purchase this coin at $200. When there's a profit of, when it gets to $500, please sell. Now, this one shot strategy is simply telling the bot that, okay, you have sold in profit for me. Even if this market starts coming back down, do not re-enter this market. I hope it is clear. One shot. It simply means that you're giving the RoyalQ bot a one-time instruction to buy now and sell when it gets to a certain point. Even if the market starts dwindling, do not re-enter the market. So I'm hoping that is as clear an example or clear an explanation as possible as to what cycle strategy means and what one-shot strategy means. Now, for the monthly profits of these strategies, for the cycle strategy, you can make approximately from 5 to 30% per month with the cycle strategy. And next, for the one-shot strategy, you can make approximately from 5 to 100% profit with the one-shot strategy. All right, what do you make with the RoyalQ? Oh dear, what do you make with the RoyalQ bot? Number one, you make trading income. This is income that you make when the bot sells successfully for you. Next, you make team trading profits. This is profits that you make when people that you have shown this business to have joined the business, have purchased their bots, have started trading as well. As they are making profits, you are also making profits while they make profits. Next, the affiliate income. Now, affiliate income is income that you make when you have successfully brought someone on board into the business, when you have talked to somebody about the business and they decide to join the business. As soon as they join the business, you earn an income. On the top right, you can see here we have the fuel fee. Now, what is this fuel fee? It is 20% of whatever profits that you make. So in RoyalQ, they want you to make profits. RoyalQ doesn't make profit except you make profits. I'll say it again. RoyalQ doesn't make profit except you make profit. So 20%, I told you earlier, I asked a question earlier that every man and woman that ever starts a business, what is the main thing on their mind when they're starting a business? And majority of the house said to make profits, right? So you might be asking me that, okay, this RoyalQ bot sounds amazing. It sells for you with ease, it buys for you with ease. But the producers, but the developers of this application, was it just for free? Did they just make it for you to use on your own and nothing comes to them? No, it's a business. So they made it because they also want to make profits. And how do they make their profits? They only make their profit when you make profits. So for every time you make a profit from a trade, 20% of that goes to Royal Q. And I'll say it again, only when you make profits, that is when the 20% goes to Royal Q. So let's say you make $100 in profit, 20% of that goes to the Royal Q. Let's say you make $10 in profit, 20% of that also goes to Royal Q. All right, so how do you get started with this business? You will need a minimum of 240 USDT to start this business. Remember, I explained what USDT was when we started this meeting. It is not just a regular US dollar, it is USDT, digital currency. All right, 240 USDT for you to get started with this business. How is that split? 120 USDT of that would give you access to use the Royal Q bot. This is the yearly subscription. This is what gives you access to now place trades with the Royal Q bot. Next, 20 USDT of that goes for the fuel fee. Now, this fee is how Royal Q gets their own 20% whenever you make profits. So whenever you make profits, 20% of that gets deducted from this 20 USDT. I hope that is clear. Next, you would then need a minimum of $100 in your digital bank account. All right, a minimum of $100. Now, of course, the more money you have in your as capital, obviously, the more money you make. You cannot expect to make the same amount of money that someone that has a $10,000 account is making if you just have $100 in as your capital. So obviously, the more capital you have, the better for you. And why is that even better? Because all your funds are in your possession. If you don't take anything away from this call today, take that all your funds are in your own possession. You are not sending your funds to anyone. Only you has access to your funds, the passwords, the emails, everything is in your own possession. All right. So your capital and your profits are all safe in your own possession. All right, so 7 reasons why Royal Q is just amazing. Number 1, no payment of salary to anyone because everything is done on your smartphone. Next, no data required. The only time you require data is when you are setting up your Royal Q bot to start a trade. By the time you have set up your bot to start a trade and you click on commence or start, you can then turn off your data, you can turn off your phone, you can walk into a place that has no internet access, walk to a remote village that has no cell towers. As long as you have set up your trade and you have clicked on start with your internet on, as soon as you click on start, you do not need to monitor the trades, you don't need to leave your data on, and so on. The bot will execute when it's supposed to execute. Next, no supervision. Your capital and profit is 100% safe in your custody, like I said. Next, your children and your family can inherit this business. Yes, because we have a saying that in the future, we will no longer be passing on land documents and paperwork for us to your loved ones. We'll start passing on passwords, digital keys for our loved ones to access all our digital wealth. Next, no loss of funds and no third party. No skills required unless and until you decide to become a day trader. I explained what that entails, extensive knowledge and understanding of the market and how to trade. Finally, no CAC degrees or certificate required for this business. So what do you stand to gain from the RQTMI group once you get started? Number 1, you gain access to the RQTMI premium group to earn more. We have so many groups on WhatsApp. We have amazing leaders that you can always reach out to. Let's say you don't understand certain things. There are people that you can always reach out to, and they are there to help you with ease. Next, free training until you become a pro with the Royal Q bot. We have this call was obviously for the layman, for the basics, for what is what and all that. We have technical calls on Fridays, Saturday, and Sundays. So if you would like to be a part of that, when you get started, you can reach out to the person that invited you to this call, and I'm sure they will send you the links to those meetings. Finally, You also get the RQTMI trading setup template. Now, this template is amazing. It's powerful. It caters to whatever capital structure you have, from $100 to $1 million. There's a strategy for you to maximize your capital. All right. So if you try to learn all this elsewhere, it could cost you from $5,000 to $6,000 just to gain all this knowledge. But all this, as soon as you get started, as soon as you purchase your bot, as soon as you start trading, would be for free. Free access to the leaders, free access to the community to ask your questions. Once you get started, you become part of the family. All right. So thank you so much. I hope my presentation was clear. If you got any value from this call today, please type yes or type value in the chat. We're way past our time because I tried my best to explain clear for a lot of people. So thank you so much for taking our time to attend this meeting. You can reach out to your prospects. You can reach out to the person who invited you to the call, and I'm sure they can get you started immediately. Please get started immediately. This business is amazing. Trust me. I'm going to unmute ourselves to say our goodbyes. Have an amazing evening. Good night, everyone.
Good night, coach.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night too.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night too.